So I promised myself I would take 3 full weeks off around Christmas time, and I just barely managed to do it. But it was pretty tough because I was still following the Runescape economy, and every couple of days I just had so many weird things happening. Like what's happening to this and Granite Mauls and Ankou Tops, what is going on? Well, today we're finally going to be catching up with what has happened to the Runescape economy over the holidays. Now, one thing we have to acknowledge before covering all these items, something that is going to be touching most things of the market, is a massive drop in volume due to leagues. Like, it is actually so noticeable. For example, the first item we're looking at here is Sunfire Splinters, and they went from 6 to 7 mil traded per day down to 3 or 4 mil, which is about a 50% drop. Looking at most items, their volume got cut about in half. So it seems like about 50% of the player base is playing leagues right now. So how does that affect items? Well, let's look at the Sunfire Splinter because something wild happened mid-December. Sunfire Splinters crashed from about 560 each to under 200 for a couple of days. Now what happened is, because there's a massive drop-off in demand due to leagues, and theoretically there should also be a massive drop-off in supply because players are just not playing the main game. But the X factor here is that bots don't play leagues, I think, or not many anyway. There's not a huge incentive to bot in leagues, so anyone who is running bot farms carried on. So the ratio of real players to bots gets much worse during leagues. And if there's an unchecked bot farm running during leagues, it can absolutely tank the price, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened to the Sunfire Splinter. I believe Jagex quickly banned it, so they kind of rebounded, but that's how quickly it can have an effect. Now, the Sunfire Splinter is not the only item that's been affected this way, and we're going to cover more of them in a minute, but first, I gotta get these off my chest because they've been bugging me for over a month now. What the hell is going on with the Granite Maul? We've talked about this before, but this item has gone ballistic this year, and I still don't 100% know why. The Granite Maul hit 1.4 mil in December, which is wild, considering a year ago it was about a tenth of that price, and for most of its time it has been ALK value. I mean, it has to be demand from PKers, nobody else is using this item, and maybe bots aren't killing gargoyles anymore, but it still seems wild to me. Another really interesting price change over the last month is actually the Sunfire Fanatic Helm. Now, looking at the last quarter, most items had a decline in volume right around leagues, but this one actually went up pretty significantly, like its volume have doubled. So the demand for this item has clearly gone up. I don't actually know why. The only 2 listed strategies on the wiki is for Volcanic Mine, where it's rated number 2, so new Volcanic Mine meta, I don't think that would be that big a deal. But it's kind of a wild increase actually. The Sunfire Fanatic Helm went from about 350k each to over 2 mil in December, and it's the only piece to have increased in value. Now, another item that's gone crazy in December is the Ankou Top. This one has flown under the radar for me, but look at the price increase on this thing. It went from about 20 mil up to, it actually went over 100 mil in December. This is just a purely cosmetic item. I'm assuming that it is getting manipulated in the same fashion that Third Age is. The Ankou set is actually one of the rarest items from Master Clue caskets beyond Third Age. So I think it's getting manipulated and pushed upward, similar to Third Age items as well. And they've gone up 4 or 5 times in value just in a few months. Now, another item that's kind of back to its old antics again is the Stale Baguette. This one is almost 100% being manipulated. This goes through a cycle every few months. The Stale Baguette gets pumped up to about 3 mil. People say it's going to the moon. It crashes back down again to like 500k. It's a rare item, has no use, but there's no way to farm it, so it is ripe for manipulation. Now, probably the most wild price change in the economy over the last 2 months has actually been league rewards. Now, this once again kind of flew under the radar, but I went and looked at some of the old league rewards going all the way back to Twisted League, and something very odd is happening. For example, here is the Shattered Cane, just kind of a random cosmetic add-on to the Relic Hunter kit. It went from about 2 mil in October up to 40 mil mid-December, so a 20 times increase on the Shattered Cane. Now, it's hard to say exactly why, it just seems to come out of nowhere. The volume does drop off, and we are getting very close to the League reward shop being opened again. But why has it become so uncommon specifically now? A little confusing to me. You would assume an item like the Shattered Cane would just slowly get rarer over time, and more expensive, but that hasn't been the case. But we can see a pretty common trend of the item's price spiking right before the new League reward shop opens. Now I saw this price, realized I still had League points, went to go buy one, but the issue is the shop is closed except during very specific windows after a League has finished. Now it's a bit unclear to me how long the League shop has been disabled for, but I think this is definitely contributing to this giant spike we've seen. I'm pretty sure the League shop is not disabled all year, so this temporary gap has caused some huge price spikes. So we're pretty much at the longest possible point between stocks potentially being refreshed. Because you can use the League points to buy rewards from any of the leagues, many people are going to purchase what is going to be the most profitable item for their points. And right now, some of the older items are incredibly profitable. So that happened last year. The item's price went back down again till the end of 2024 where it kind of spiked again. But this is not even comparable. This is absolutely insane. 40 mil for a Shatter Cane is, I don't even know what to say about that. But it's not just that item. The Twisted Blueprint has also shot up a lot, up to a peak of about 15, 16 mil. I'm curious if this item also has that weird spike. Well, no, I forgot about this. This is the first League crash. Now we also have the Trailblazer Reloaded Alchemy Scroll, which one sold for 30 mil on Christmas Eve. Last minute gift, I guess, but geez, it went from 1.5 mil up to 30 mil. That's again like a 20 times increase. The volume has just dropped off a cliff. I don't know why. Even some of the items from the last League are also spiking. We have the Trailblazer Reloaded Rejuvenation Pool, which one sold for, again, 40 mil and is definitely trending upwards. We have the Bulwark Ornament Kit also going upwards. Keep in mind, the League reward shop is coming out in the next few days, and almost certainly these items are going to crash. But I'm very curious to see what happens. So although there have been some crazy outliers in the last couple of months, for the most part, the RuneScape market has been slowly declining over the course of leagues. I think a lot of this can be attributed to the drop in volume, once again dropping about in half. Even places that maybe are not directly botted that much do still seem to be getting dragged down during leagues. For example, I just opened up kind of a bunch of random items here. The Virtus Robe Bottom and all the Virtus set has gone down about 25% in the last few months. The Bandos Chestplate is down a similar amount. Renar Seeds are down about 30-40% in the last quarter. The Dex Prayer Scroll is, I think, pretty much at an all-time low nearly. Under 10 mil and has crashed about 40% with the run up to leagues. Most raid items are crashing. We have the Twisted Buckler once again going down about 20-30%. The Bludgeon crashing during leagues. The Dragon Warhammer. Most items are going down. And beyond leagues, I think another pretty big factor is that there isn't any big updates coming soon. I just checked the roadmap. The next kind of PVM-esque boss we're going to be getting, at least on the roadmap, is the new giant bosses, which are coming in spring. So that could still be months away. And it's probably going to be like a mid-level boss from the way I interpret it. There's no high-level Slayer boss, raid, or even just a big piece of content until, looks like late spring probably. And those are normally the type of updates that really pump up the economy. So we don't look at high volume items nearly enough. Now the Superior Dragonbone has been on a insane trajectory this year, going up to a peak of about 30k per bone in December, which has made Vorkath incredibly profitable right now. Actually, all of the classic money grinding bosses like Vorkath, Phantom Muspa, Zulrah, really good money again. So Vorkath's profitable because of the Superior Dragonbones, but also this has caused Dragon Bolts to go up a lot, I think. Dragon Bolts have pretty much doubled this month and have nearly tripled over the last few months, mainly because they're used to kill Vorkath, among other things, but you usually only see spikes in the price of this item when there's a content release like Next, where people are using a lot of crossbows, or something like Vorkath being profitable. Zulrah is also incredibly profitable right now because look at the price of uniques. A Toxic Blowpipe, 7 mil right now. Zulrah scales, while they have fallen a bit, they're still quite high. The Money Slug, Phantom Muspa, also still incredibly profitable this year, with Venator Shards being about 16 mil each. So it is a pretty good time to farm money. With Christmas time, we of course have the Christmas event, and with that we get massive influxes of Christmas crackers, party hats, and the like. They actually didn't drop in price that much, Christmas crackers. Now, these things have been really interesting to watch because they've had some mad price fluctuations. Now initially that was because people were using them for games of chance, but Jagex did fix that, but considering the volume went from a couple hundred every day up to a couple thousand every day, I'm surprised the price only dropped by about 30–40%. The allure of the Christmas cracker is too much for people to handle. Maybe this time Jagex will make them discontinued, who knows? But considering Christmas just happened, I'm surprised these haven't actually dropped that much. Now, another kind of wild thing this month is the old school RuneScape bond. This has been way more volatile than normal. So in December, the bond went up to 17 mil for the first time ever, I'm pretty sure, and then proceeded to drop to 12 mil a couple weeks later. The bond dropped like an entire 2022 bonds price in a week, which is pretty wild. So anyway, that is pretty much it for all the interesting things I've noticed over the holidays. Looking forward to 2025, I personally think rare discontinued items are going to see the biggest volatility because we don't have any planned big pieces of content coming out in the first quarter or two maybe of 2025. So with no new PVM content, often collectible items or rare cosmetic items tend to get bought up instead, but we will have to see. Thanks for watching guys as always, and I'll see you next time.